So I've been riding for 47 minutes, 9 miles, and 60 volts. And if you weigh less and you go slower, you'll get more miles. If you weigh more and go faster, you'll get less miles. School's out for the summer. At 20 miles an hour on loose gravel, it handled pretty well. And so if you're wondering, the full weight of the bike, it came in. Hey, run the red light. So today we're going to be riding the Nova 3. I know a lot of people have been asking about videos, so we're going to do a distance test on it and see how far we can go. Now, I'm going to limit myself to about 28 miles per hour. I'm not going to go over that, and I'm going to do that by putting it in assist mode 2. Now, before I get started, I just wanted to say that I was told running on camera makes you copy and Saronster. So I just wanted to get that out of the way. Also, before I get started on this ride, I did want to say that every company contacts me and was like, that's not a great representation of our bike's capabilities. But look, I weighed everything. I have the weight. I'm telling you on my ride, this is a real world ride experience. This is me riding to get distance in a real world situation. And most people will go probably faster. So I don't think there's many people that are actually going to go that speed. I think they're going to travel a lot faster, and they want the distance for that. But let me start with how I'm going to keep my speed. And so if we go to assist 1, and this is something that I didn't cover before. If we go to assist 1, that's going to get us about 15 miles per hour. But look at the takeoff. So your takeoff is slow, and I don't want to do that at a red light. But it'll go to 14 or 15, 14. Then if I hit the plus, it'll go, almost flew off. It'll go to 28. So that'll keep us at the 28 mile an hour mark. But again, the boost is definitely limited. So I don't want to do too many stop and goes, and I don't want to hold up traffic. So there might be an instance where I have to bump it up. I need to clarify because somebody got mad last time because I was in level 3 and said I was in level 2. But you get the gist of it. Also, for voltage, I started and checked my voltage from my charger. When I took it off the charger, it said 67.2, and I turned the bike on just to show you that there's some kind of voltage discrepancy. So the bike only was showing 65.2 once it started, but it's a full battery, so we're going to get a good run out of this. I've switched back to the half twist throttle, and I think this is a hazard for any bike that goes over 28 miles an hour, just because when you're turning this, you don't have time to distinguish which part of my hand I'm going to turn the throttle with, and it's just complicated. So I'm gonna have to tune it when I get my new harness in for tuning the X2 Pro. I should be able to turn down the amps it sends from the throttle, and we'll be able to use that full twist throttle, because this is not something I can keep on here. It doesn't feel very safe for me. While we're just killing time, I did want to say I weighed the bike, and so if you're wondering, the full weight of the bike, it came in multiple times at 118.2 pounds. And then I also weighed myself with my gear. So I'm only carrying my helmet, my goggles, my tripod, and my little small tool bag. And that weight came in right at 182 pounds. So that way you can see how much me and the bike weigh together and how much strain we're putting on the motor and the battery. I did want to talk to wheeling. Some people were asking about wheelies, and let me just say this. So this bike, the weight and everything, it is long. So it's a longer bike, so you have a lower center of gravity. It makes it a lot harder to get this thing up in the air, and the balance point is kind of tricky. So if I was on my other bike, like my travel bike, from a dead stop, I can pull a wheelie. But this one is stretched out. So I think with some different suspension, that would change kind of the angle. I think it's called the rake or something like that, to be a little higher. I think it would make it a little bit easier. Now it is doable, but I'm still working on wheelies, so I'm not that confident on this bike. But it is longer, so know that it is gonna be a little harder to get that front wheel up. So I'm gonna pull up in the shade real quick and give a quick thank you to one of the reasons that I'm still here today, and that's because of my helmet. Guys, I know you saw the Houston video, and I do not advocate for that. I think everyone should wear a helmet, especially going over like 25. I mean, lower than that is still a chance, but you going speeds of 40 miles an hour, I say you wear a helmet. Now, everybody there was an adult. It was real nice people. They make their own decisions, but I will always wear a full-face helmet, especially riding at those speeds. And I know it's ironic I'm saying that wearing a sleeveless shirt and no pants, but it is 88 degrees over here right now with a 59% humidity. So it feels like 101 degrees, and it's still early in the day. So this is probably the worst time to test out the distance on this. And again, that's another factor. Everything is going to be a factor on your battery and your distance, your weight, your gear, the weather, where you're going, how many stops you make, all that. So that's why I kind of use this area, go back and forth, and some trails on campus, which we might actually head to campus because it's going to be a lot cooler in the shade. She was not looking at all. Dang. I didn't see her look at me once. You got to keep your eyes out, head on a swivel when you're on a bike, because cars do not care. Another thing about the Nova 3, a lot of people were saying that they didn't like the look of it and they thought it was kind of like an ugly bike. And look, every bike is different. It's not going to appeal to each rider. But the thing about this bike is when you get on it, the feel of just the torque when you take off and everything, I can't describe the feeling. It's just super, super fun, especially being that mid-drive motor. A lot of people want the mid-drive motor to be able to do some changes and modifications. It's going to be a lot easier on this bike. I think Frigo, this bike is kind of like a test to kind of see their ability to get more into the mid-drive motor scene. I mean, I could be wrong, but I've already seen they've made a model called the Nova 2, and it's a lot beefier, and they've changed a few things that I think some things that I suggested about the Nova 3. If I give you my honest opinion about this bike, like what I would change, one thing that's a big deal for me, this front suspension. The front suspension, I believe, is way undersized, and this plate right here is really thin. So whenever I had my crash, that's what I twisted. Now I've twisted it back, but once you've bent a piece of metal, it will never be the same strength. So I'm gonna see about getting a new plate just in case, and there's a couple guys looking for new suspension for this bike. So if I find a solution or they find a solution, I'll let everybody know. Something else I get a lot of questions about is the foot pads. And so you can see I've switched these pegs. So if I fall, this is what's going to take the abuse and not really the peg. It also puts your foot out and away from the belt and the chain. So I kind of like the pegs a little bit more than the foot pads that they had on it. I want to give a shout out to Ryan Smith. So Ryan reached out after I posted on YouTube that I was going to Houston, and he said, man, I'm gonna come out and meet y'all. So he did a great job on his first group ride. I will say it made me think of a few things. Like I wish I'd have gave him a few pointers before we started, especially riding with the group for the first time. One of the things I'd say is when you're learning how far your bike can go, distance like this, riding in a group, do not trust your bars. Different screens have different bars, all that stuff. What doesn't change is the voltage. And what I mean by that is the voltage that's left. So whenever I stop, you can see this is the voltage. This is what I'll watch majority of the ride. Anywhere I'm riding, anytime I'm in a group, I want to know what this is. Now, the chart is different. I'll put the chart up for a 60 volt bike. That's the one I have memorized. So I know if I get to 50 volts, we might have a problem. Now each chart is different, 72 volts, 48 volts. You can find them on the internet, and I think they're pretty accurate. So that's kind of what I go by on my ride. But I'm used to all the Frigo bikes are 60 volts, so I just use this chart. I'll pop it up somewhere on the screen so you can see it. I don't know how I ended up going downtown, but since I'm right here, this is one of those instances that I will turn it up just because there's more acceleration in the level assist 5 when you take off, so I can go with traffic instead of putt-putting and holding up traffic. So I'm gonna go up, but I'm gonna not exceed that 28 miles an hour. I'm just gonna get to it faster. Big difference in assist 5 versus 3. I mean, I got to 20 miles an hour really fast. School's out for the summer. Yeah, nobody, well, summer school people, but campus is empty. This is reminding me like riding on campus and going on sidewalks and seeing all these gaps and just places that you could eat. It reminded me like something I also figured about when I'm riding with others is the fact that I do have more riding experience than most people. I was going through some videos and found some clips. I'll throw up a quick clip of me riding. Now when you're riding through the woods like that, it might not seem like I'm going that fast, but like we are moving through the woods. And imagine squeezing through trees like that, where it's handlebar to handlebar. That's why I have those brake guards, those brush guards, because like you are flying, and if you tap a tree, it'll grab your brake and throw you off into the woods. The clip I just showed, I actually got 3rd place, so yay! So that's pretty good. I podiumed in my division on that one. So I've been riding for 47 minutes, 9 miles, and 60 volts. And I mean, that's because I'm turning the throttle. It'll probably go up to 62 volts if I did stop. But I did find this out from a company, I won't say who, but they said they get their distance from a 150-pound rider going 15 miles an hour. Now, I think that's plain lying, because like, first of all, who's that weight unless it's like a high school kid, and no one's going 15 everywhere. I just don't see it unless you're on like a travel bike. Hey, run the red light. So I have to blur out that license plate, but I was going to turn around right there, and that car was gone. All right, so a little known fact, I used to be a CrossFit coach, and I saw this bar here, and I was inspired by Saransh's video. I'm going to attempt to do a bar muscle up with my helmet on. It's probably going to be a challenge. I haven't done this in a while. Yes, I have gloves on, but he had chalk, so let's see what I can get. Yeah. And that's a CrossFit style when it's not a strict one, but I still got it. I've reached the 15-mile mark, so let's go ahead and go over some stats. I have 59 volts left. I've been riding, or the bike has been on for 65 minutes. Total mileage on the bike, 15 miles. So 15 miles of riding from 21 to 28. I have, well, 59.2. So as it rests, it'll kind of, the voltage might go up a little bit, but it's pretty much 59. So let's keep going. As much as I like this circle, keeping it easy and killing time, I'm starting to get dizzy going in a circle. And I'm sure it's hard to watch the same thing over and over. Distance testing is super boring, y'all. Just because you can't go in the places you want, because, you know, like it's stop, go. You see somebody talk, and that's not really good for distance. We want to be real, you know, consistent in our pace, try to stop the least, and, you know, just keep moving. You recognize this path from my night ride on the X2 Original when I was kind of rolling out. Let me know in the comments if that's a ride you'd like me to recreate, that night ride, but on the X2 Pro. I'm more confident with the Pro. I like the speed on it and how the bike handles. So that might be an opportunity to get a good night shot. I know a lot of people love that speed run on this path. I'm super upset about this right here. They removed the water fountain. And like, you playing basketball and like people walking in this park, I don't know what the decision was why they did that, but man, like, that's a great spot to stop and get some water. There are no other public water fountains anywhere near here. You gotta go all the way to Monkus Park. I'm over by the Light Center on my usual distance route, and we're at the 20-mile mark. So at 20 miles, we have 57.2 volts left. Been riding for 84 minutes. So it's been a good ride. That's another reason that I don't do a lower speed. So yes, I get more distance if I went 15 miles an hour. But if I went 15 miles an hour, I'd be riding for 4 hours, 5 hours. Like, who has that kind of time? Finally, I've been able to stop in the shade. We're at 25 miles, 56 volts. And we've been running, I guess it starts over at 90. I'm not sure. So we're on 25 miles and 56 volts. Since I am right here, I knew they had this gravel road, so I thought maybe I'd come ride on it and tell you how it handles. I mean, I'm going 20 and it's not, I'm not washing out. So at 20 miles an hour on loose gravel, it handled pretty well. Now we find ourselves in a swamp at the 30-mile mark. So a lot of people didn't think it would make it this far, but so we're at 30 miles with 54.7 volts. So I didn't think we would make it to that 30-mile mark. A lot of people were saying they didn't think it would make it that far with the, you know, it's 25 amp hours on this battery. So let's keep going. Let me bring it back to the subject. All right, we're losing power. So I cannot get over 21. Lights blinking. 20.3. 19.5. I'm fully pinned. The throttle's all the way. And we're not going anywhere. We're at 36.5 miles. So 36.5 miles is 50.6 volts. So we're near the end here. All right, we're down to 9 miles an hour, full throttle, and we're just putting along. It's been going 10-9, 10-9. Now it's doing 9-8, 9-8. So we got 50 volts left, and the mileage is 37.4. So we're at 37.4 miles. I think that it's going to end up dying probably at 50 volts or 48 volts. I think once it hits the 48 volt mark. Oh, there we go. E06, and we have a battery, a little battery bar. So that's it. It's showing the power. We have a power failure. So when you turn the battery off and leave the screen on, that E06 comes on. That's a battery failure. I can hear a beeping. All right, that's it. It won't go anymore. So I'm getting a error 06, and that was at the 50.2 volt mark. So that's it. I don't think we can go anymore. I'm gonna have to wait right here and call my ride. I might push it to where we started. So that's it. We did the whole ride. I managed to push the bike back to where we started, which is pretty cool. So the final numbers are in, and we made just over 37 miles, and it shuts off at 50 volts. So when it hit about 50 volts, you get that error 06. So I couldn't get any of the numbers off of the bike, but those are the last numbers that I had on my camera, and I'll put them in the screen here so you can see them. If you weigh less and you go slower, you'll get more miles. If you weigh more and go faster, you will get less miles. It's very simple. I don't know why I need to say that, but companies contact me about all my videos and say you're misrepresenting our bikes. But this is a real world situation. It was a great ride today, even though it was like 100-something degrees. I'm sweating. It's time to go inside. So if you have any questions or comments about the ride, more questions about the bike, let me know. Let me know what kind of videos you want to see next. And till next time, turn off your device and head out on a ride.